Hi everybody, this is Celeste. I'm a Nationally Certified Interventionist and I'm doing my live a little bit early today. Sorry people, I had something come up, but I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about the recovery coaching that I do with families. And I feel like I wanted to talk a little bit more about this because I feel like it's so super important, because family members can really tend to get lost in the shuffle of addiction and all the chaos that goes around with addiction. And there's so little support out there for families and what they go through, and family members can get very emotionally beat up, verbally beat up, physically beat up in the process of addiction and the chaos that happens. So I felt like it was really important to talk about this a little bit more, just so that families know that there is support out there, because families often come to me and say, I'm lost, I don't know where to go, I don't know who to turn to. There's not enough support out there for the families. And I think we're getting to a point where it's even hard for us to get support for the people that are suffering an addiction, much less the families. And there is such a wake, an emotional wake that happens to the family, getting wrapped up with an addict in their family. And people don't choose to love addicts. Often they love the person before they started engaging in those addictive behaviors, and it catches them by surprise. And the addiction process happens so gradually that they normalize to it. They don't see the consequences right away. So sometimes it is very easy to get lost and to develop these unhealthy, codependent, enabling behaviors. And it really tends to sneak up on people. And the first couple times that they might come to you for help, it's, oh yeah, they're going through a rough patch, and we'll help them out, and we'll give them a place to live, we'll lend them some money. And then before you know it, years have gone by and you're suffering at the hands of an addict. And it's a lot of times it's not intentional on the part of the addict. It's just that they're sick, and families gradually become very, very sick, and the addict becomes sick, the family becomes sick, the support system becomes sick. So, and a lot of times it's the family members that really get lost in that. And yeah, the addicts are really lost as well, but there's fewer resources out there for families. And that's why I really feel like offering recovery coaching for families is so important, is because sometimes their needs get lost because they're looking at the needs of the addict, or trying to keep this person alive to get them to treatment. We want to do whatever we can to help them in the interim, and they're so busy supporting the addict that they're losing out on getting that support themselves. And they're not getting that same support back from the addict. So sometimes it can be very, very hard, and they can feel unsupported, and they can feel unloved, and meanwhile they feel like they're giving so much. And a lot of times the enabling behavior and the codependent behavior, they think it's helping, and then they find out this isn't helping anymore, and then they don't know who to turn to or where to go to get the support that they need to get well themselves, and to prioritize their own wellness and their own care and their own self-care, and the things that they used to do for self-care, the things that they love, their own hobbies, their own things that they used to get joy out of, they don't do anymore because they're so busy caring for an addict, right? And I feel like that's why helping families do their own recovery is so super important. And it's something that I've just been thinking since I did my live last week, that this is really something that family members need help with. They need help. It's almost like they've either lost part or all of themselves to this addiction, and they don't know how they got there or how to get out. So I was thinking about it more and more after I did my last week's live, and realizing that there is such a need out there for family members to get well from addiction as well. So the recovery coaching that I do with people that have loved ones either in active addiction or in recovery, regardless, we work a lot on setting goals. We work on looking at some of those enabling codependent behaviors that they've been engaging in for months, years, or even decades, and looking at bringing those to an end and starting to build healthy relationships tools and skills and communication and all that kind of stuff, so that they can start to, rebuild healthy relationships. But I think first and foremost is helping them to rebuild themselves, because like I said, a lot of times they've lost so much of themselves in this addiction, and trying to support and help an addict and to keep them alive. And that's what a lot of people say is, I feel like I've lost myself to this addiction. And so part of it is helping that person rebuild themselves and to build up their sense of self again, their self-esteem, their self-confidence, because a lot of times they've just taken an emotional beating and they don't even know who they are anymore. So we work a lot on self-care and getting back into things that they enjoy, and sometimes even they don't even remember what they did that brought them joy. So sometimes it's a real process of rediscovery and redefining who they are and who they want to be, because it might not be practical, and it might not be going back to that person that they were before they were enabling and engaging in a codependent relationship with an addict. Sometimes it's not practical or reasonable to go back to that, and sometimes they don't even want to go back to that person. They want to completely redefine themselves. And so it's a real process of self-discovery and finding out who they are again and who they want to be going forward, and helping them to develop the kinds of relationships that they want to have going forward. So that's really what I do with helping people who want to rediscover themselves before, during, and after loving an addict. So that's really become an in-depth passion of mine, is to help those people and help them learn to love again, to trust again, to find themselves again, and to build those happy, healthy relationships so that they can move forward in their own lives. So I will post, if you're interested in recovery coaching, feel free to set up a call with me, and we'll go over options that meet your budget for what you want to accomplish going forward in your life. So if you feel like you're unsupported and don't have help, reach out to me, and we'll get you the help that you feel like you've been searching for so long. And I wish everybody a great night, and thanks for tuning in. Have a good night, everybody.